very important life process. You are already aware about the various life process like nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion, reproduction, etc. So in this session, we will learn about the excretion in human beings. Okay, so first of all, we should know why this excretion is actually necessary for our body. Okay, why is this necessary actually? Yes, it is because our body produces many toxic materials during the metabolic activities. So various metabolic activities will take place in body, as you know. So this can lead, these toxic substances can lead to the death of an organism. Hence, the excretion is very necessary for any organism. Okay, as we are the human beings, that is multicellular organisms, there is a well-defined excretory system in our body. Okay, now so do you think what is the excretory system of a human body? It is nothing, it is none other than kidneys, you might be knowing. So now we will see how this kidney is there actually. So this kidney or the excretory system usually consists of a pair of these kidneys and the long tube-like structure you can observe here. These are a pair of a ureters, urinary bladder and the urethra. Okay, now we learn where is this kidney found. These kidneys are usually found in the abdominal cavity on the either side of the backbone. Okay, now we learned how these kidneys are there and where they are present actually. So next is how this function. You are observing that these kidneys are actually bean-shaped structures. So how this function is that the waste or the impure blood enters kidneys for the purification. Okay, these will transfer to the kidneys via the renal arteries. You can see this renal arteries. These are. Then this will transport the blood. The blood will be purified and then the pure blood will be transferred through this renal veins. Okay, this is how the purification takes place. I said that the waste materials will be purified here. So how this takes place? That is the point we need to learn here. So what happens when you look at the intersection of this kidneys? You usually observe two layers. See, the outer layer, which is in blue shape, is known as the cortex and the inner layer is known as the medulla. Okay, in this kidneys the major filtration units known as the nephrons are present. See, this is the structure of the nephron you are observing. Okay, now I will tell you about what are present in this nephron. It contains Bowman's capsule. You are seeing this cup-shaped Bowman's capsule. It contains glomerulus. Okay, this contains glomerulus, which is connected by the afferent and efferent arterioles. See, this is afferent arterioles. This is efferent arterioles. Then this is connected to a tube-like structure you are observing here. This is known as proximal convoluted tubule, commonly known as the TCT. Okay. Now this long tube-like structure, see, this is here in this part we can observe one part. This is known as the loop of Henle or Henle's loop. Now this tube-like structure you are observing. This is diastole convoluted tubule, commonly known as a DCT. And this long tube-like structure you are observing here, this is called the collecting duct. Okay, now we will learn how this process is taking place. See, the impure blood enters this Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus through this afferent arterioles. This afferent arterioles bring the waste blood for the purification. Actually, in the filtration process will take place in 3 steps. First, it is filtration. Second is the secretion. Third is the absorption. Okay, in this glomerulus, the filtration process will take place. When this afferent arteries bring the waste blood, it will be filtered. This filtration process will absorb urea and the uric acid, that is a nitrogenous waste, and send the pure to the efferent arterioles. Okay, this process is known as the filtration. It takes place in the glomerulus of the Bowman's capsule. Now second is the secretion. This secretion usually takes place in the PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule. Here what happens? Some of the microvilli will be present here. They absorb, they prepare the salts, some salts for the absorption of the glucose, amino acids, salts and water. This process is known as a secretion. Okay. Now the last process is the reabsorption. It takes place in the Henle's loop and the DCT. In this Henle's loop and the DCT, the reabsorption of the water will take place. This reabsorption process is nothing but the again absorption of the water. Reverse absorption of this water is usually termed as the reabsorption process. After all this process, the urine which will be formed will be collected by this collecting duct from all the nephrons. This is actually structure of a single nephron. There are many nephrons in this kidney. Okay, this will be collected by the collecting duct that will be furtherly connected to the ureters. This is connected to the ureters, then transport the urine. This ureters will transport to the urinary bladder, and this urinary bladder will store the urine until its pressure increases. After the pressure increases, it will excrete out through the urethra. That is what we call the urine that we pass. Okay, this is how the process of excretion takes place in our human body. Now, one of the additional function of kidney is that it helps to regulate the osmotic temperature. Okay, what do you mean by this? That is water regulation. These kidneys usually absorb the water. As when this artery brings the impure blood, it contains nearly 180 liters of water. But when it reaches the kidneys, the reabsorption of all the water takes place, and only the 1 to 2 liters of water will be released as a urine. Okay, hence it will helps in the regulation of the water. Okay, now I will show you this practically for your better understanding. See what happens. This waste blood enters the kidneys through this renal arteries. Now see, this blood is transporting. It is passing through the kidneys and see through the ureters and the urinary bladder, and it is excreted out through the urethra. So this is how the kidney usually the kidney or the excretory system usually works. This was all for the session. I think you liked it. Thank you.